Hello, my beautiful people. How are you today? I'm staring outside the window, looking at the rain falling and the leaves dropping from the trees. And it would be easy to look at today and say, what a miserable day. It's grey sky, it's wet, it's autumn, the summer's over. Let's go into hibernation. But in truth, the autumn and the winter offer so much beauty. The golden, red colours, the opportunity to shed our leaves so we can grow. Autumn gives us an opportunity to have the beginner's mind because all our leaves have fallen. Now, beginner's mind refers to having an attitude of openness, eagerness, a lack of preconception when studying a subject or anything in life. And even when you get to the very highest level, or what people would call the highest level, I don't really deal in hierarchies, we should still look at everything almost like a child would, with those big, fresh eyes, with optimism, with hope, and with love. And with those faculties, we can then dream an even better dream than we thought was ever possible. So essentially, this is not, yes, I know how it works, but more, wow, I wonder how we can make this work. You often hear children pushing each other out of the way and saying, I know how to do this. But it's the child who looks at it, who breathes, and who wonders. I wonder how this works. And if you look at everything with a sense of wonder, the possibilities become infinite. Because in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, while in the expert's mind, there are very few. The expert already has the vision before he begins, whereas the beginner has no idea how it could end up and therefore has endless possibilities, endless dreams. It's what the Chinese called shoshin. And to cultivate the beginner's mind, we just need to let go. That's all we need to do. We just need to start something from nowhere instead of already being somewhere when we begin. So, for example, when I pick up my guitar and I just start strumming and playing, and I have no idea what tune I'm trying to play or where I'm trying to go. And yet, as I start to play, things start to fill my mind and my heart. And that is when the true magic comes out, because often a tune will be born from literally what seems like nowhere. And yet all I'm applying is an openness, a blank piece of paper, an open book, a clean slate, new eyes. So for those of you who feel you're very much in tune with your intellect rather than your heart, probably the best thing you can do is just let go of your preconceptions about how things work. Eliminate expectations about what might happen. Then fill yourself with that curiosity. Tune into that third chakra if you can, that hummingbird energy, that hummingbird medicine. And you'll suddenly feel this curiosity consuming you. And what it will do at first is it will ask a lot of questions, but slowly it will move into answers. Because hummingbirds leave no stone unturned. When they go on a journey, they don't just stop after 5 kilometers and say, oh, thank you very much. That was nice. I'll just stay at this beach and lie down here, or I'll just go to McDonald's. Oh no. The hummingbirds, when they're searching for the sweet nectar of life, when they're searching with that hummingbird medicine of curiosity, they will go as far as they need to go. And that might be 2,000 kilometers, it might be 6,000 kilometers to get to the place where their heart tells them they need to be. In my book, The Bird of Destiny, Horus's father describes it to Horus as being able to listen to the wind. When you find the courage to listen to the wind, to trust in your intuition, to hear the voice of love, and to be completely devoted to this voice, to this curiosity, to this magic which can completely consume us, completely grip our lives, then suddenly you open yourself to absolutely any kind of miracle. Nothing is impossible. And it was Shunryu Suzuki who said, if your mind is empty, it is always ready for anything. So, ultimately, you've got to be curious. You've got to be flexible. You've got to be open. You've got to be interested. You've got to be engaged. And you've got to be willing to adapt to whatever comes. And in this day and age when the world is appearing to go a little bit crazy, when politics is making so many mistakes in many people's eyes, actually what we probably need is someone in charge who is completely open and completely adaptable to the very fast changes which are being thrown upon our planet. Instead of using old tactics and old techniques to deal with everything, the best thing we could possibly do is just to deal with everything as it comes. And that's why a lot of the politicians right now are looking a little bit silly, because they're trying to apply old techniques to brand new things. They think they can change the world based on decisions made in the past, when actually if they just tuned into their heart and not completely ignored the ego, because the ego gives them an awareness, but they use the most intelligent part of the mind, which is the bit which does connect us with the heart, the sin, the heart-mind, because this will take us in the direction we need to go. And this isn't always in our comfort zone. The issue with the comfort zone is often anything outside it makes us feel insecure. The comfort zone is the survival mechanism, just getting by, playing it safe, procrastinating, being like everybody else, fear-based, and often it's pretty dull. That's 98% of the population. Whereas the beginner's mind, the courageous mind, the courageous heart is where you go for your dreams, where you find a supreme kind of confidence. You have this incredible willingness to explore brand new things. You're willing to choose happiness over money. You go for fulfillment. Embrace the unknown, the excitement. Live on the edge. Be completely available for change. Live without limits and getting the most out of our lives. And what you'll find with beginner's mind is it creates much better experiences. You aren't clouded by prejudgments or fantasies about what it should be or assumptions about how you already knew it would be. When you don't have things like that, you can't be disappointed. You have no expectations. You can't be frustrated by an experience not achieving the mark that you wanted it to achieve. Because there's no fantasy, there's no preconception to compare it to. For example, if you go for brunch with somebody and you go into a restaurant and you want the avocados to be created in a certain way or the bread to be toasted to exactly the right degree. And then they bring it out and the toast's the wrong colour. The avocados have not been mashed. The eggs are too hard. The tea's got the wrong milk in it. Then you're in that old mind, which is bound to be disappointed constantly. And yet if you approach your breakfast with beginner's mind, nothing could be wrong. Everything is beautiful, fresh. Everything's a bonus. And it doesn't just give you better experiences, it also gives you better relationships. I mean, if you're talking to someone else, instead of being frustrated by them because they aren't meeting your ideal, you can see them with fresh eyes. You can notice that they're trying to be happy, that they've got good intentions, even if they're not the intentions that you had. And that just like you, they're struggling too. That life isn't always perfect, or it isn't always easy. That they too are a child in adult's clothing, keen to impress, keen to walk with love and truth, but making mistakes like all human beings do. And when you're open enough to show people your vulnerability, to show people that life can be difficult as well as easy, that it isn't as simple as just tuning into your heart and then skipping through life in wonder, but having that willingness and that courage just to be vulnerable, to be you, to admit when you make a mistake, to admit when you're disappointed with yourself, but not to set the bar high, not to even have any expectations if you can, to live with that beginner's mind of a child, because that is the place of great possibility, a place of great love, a place of great courage, and a place with no barriers. And when the barriers are down, then anything is possible, and there's so much love in the air. You'll find you create a space which the two of you can inhabit, and that you can bask in the glory of everything, whether it's a grey sky and rain and wind, or whether it's the perfect spring day when the sky is blue and the fruit is growing on the trees. Suddenly your relationships will get better, your experiences will get better, and you'll start to find a willingness to love yourself to a whole new level. Because there's nothing more beautiful than falling in love when you're a teenager. That feeling of magic, of pure beauty, of looking into the eyes of someone else and tasting the sweet nectar of love. The place that hummingbirds are willing to travel 6,000 kilometers to enjoy. Because at the end of that journey, that nectar tastes so beautiful. So remember, the mind and the heart are like a parachute. They don't work unless they're open to everything. Curious, passionate, flexible, open to love. And openness isn't the end. It's actually the beginning. It doesn't come from resisting our fears, but rather from getting to know them even better, making friends with them, and understanding that every shadow has a gift. There's so much magic in truth and honesty and openness. And open-minded people don't care to be right. They just care to understand, because there's never a right or a wrong answer. Everything is about understanding. Thank you so much for listening. It's an honor to walk beside you. Love and peace. Peter. Namaste.